Remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Senior Paige Moden.
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we recognize our honored guest today, I would like to explain what all the Academic Hall of Fame entails. The Academic Hall of Fame consists of 3 different categories: the top 5% of each Wauseon High School graduating class, distinguished alumni from Wauseon High School, and legends of education from the Wauseon Exempted Village School District. Distinguished alumni and legends of education are inducted every other year. Our last induction was in April of 2016. We have continued each year to induct the top 5% from each graduating class. This is done each year at our graduation commencement ceremony. At our program today, I would like to recognize the previously inducted top 5% from the class of 2016 and the class of 2017. Our 2016 graduates were Mason Krieger, Daniel Hench, Caleb Blanchong, Casey Darnell, Brianna Koblenz, Anna Marshall, Olivia Bannister, and Mia Wanger. These students represented the 7th graduating class inducted into our Academic Hall of Fame. The 2017 graduates were the 8th graduating class inducted into our Academic Hall of Fame as the top 5% of their class. Our 2017 graduates included Elizabeth Yaki, Sarah Becker, Jacob Raby, Aaron Spielis, Michaela Campbell, and Samantha Stocco. Please give these 2 groups of past graduates a round of applause. Distinguished alumni is another category of our Academic Hall of Fame. Distinguished alumni are past graduates of Wauseon High School, which may include nominees who have achieved significant success in their chosen career field, and are individuals that provide outstanding role models for the students of the Wauseon Exempted Village School District. The 3rd category of our Academic Hall of Fame is Legends of Education. Legends of Education are employees of the Wauseon Exempted Village School District that are not necessarily graduates of Wauseon School District, but have impacted students, parents, and staff in some significant way. The time they have devoted to the students of Wauseon schools is greatly appreciated. The following is the criteria for nomination. Nominees of the Wauseon Exempted Village Schools, living or deceased, are eligible for nomination. Nominees shall have demonstrated good citizenship and meritorious service. The record of the individual being nominated shall be so outstanding to the nominator that there is no question as to the qualification necessary for induction. As you will soon hear today, our inductees meet and exceed the qualifications and are most deserving of this honor. It has been my pleasure to learn more about our inductees through speaking with them and reading about their long list of accomplishments. Each and every one of these individuals have made the Wauseon school system, the Wauseon community, very proud. I would like to take this time to recognize the Academic Hall of Fame committee members. They have put a great deal of time into creating and maintaining this Academic Hall of Fame and for helping make today's event possible. Our committee members are Mr. Larry Fruth, Mrs. Sandra Griggs, Mr. Mark Powers, Mr. Jim Spielis, Mrs. Dolores Spielis, Mr. Chris Spielis, and Mr. Tony Uribes. Please give them a round of applause. I would also like to thank Mrs. Carell Wagner for her help in organizing this event today and maintaining the Academic Hall of Fame records. I would also like to thank Mr. Ryan Odell, Mrs. Michelle Leatherman, Mr. Jason Robinson for their assistance with our Academic Hall of Fame programs. I would also like to extend my gratitude to Ms. Katie Miller for her help in creating the programs, designing the award plaques, and designing the presentation for today's program. Your efforts are very much appreciated. Please recognize these people with a round of applause. At this time, I would like to direct your attention back to Mr. Vaughn and our a cappella choir for a musical performance.
Good afternoon. When we heard of Mrs. Schnitkey being inducted into the Academic Hall of Fame, we wanted to recognize her and all of the other outstanding people that are on the stage today with us in a tribute to that, because it just so happened that a piece that we're doing is very appropriate for today. So our piece today, I Carry Your Heart With Me, is a E.E. Cummings poem arranged by David the Cow, and we are very fortunate and blessed to also have Mrs. Schnitkey up with us today to accompany us. So this is the a cappella choir doing that performance, and then we're very honored to also represent Wauseon tomorrow along with the symphonic band at OMEA's state large group adjudicated event. So it's a wonderful opportunity for us to perform this for you today before we head there tomorrow and have a great performance there. So I Carry Your Heart.
Thank you, students, Mr. Vaughn and Mrs. Schnitkey, for that performance. Our new inductees today will be presented by current Wauseon High School students. We will introduce and recognize our distinguished alumni first, followed by our legends of education. Here to present our first two distinguished alumni is senior Everett Buter.
Our first distinguished alumni to be inducted today is Mr. Charles Domeck. Charles Chuck Domeck was born in Detroit, Michigan, but moved to Wauseon during childhood. He graduated from Wauseon High School in 1949. Not always a serious academic student, Charles attributed to his awakening to learning to teach Alice Lannie, who taught him to love mathematics and homework. Upon graduation from Wauseon High School, as a first-class scholar, Charles earned a scholarship to Bowling Green State University. There, he studied math and science, becoming a disciplined student and also served in the marching band. In 1950, Chuck took his congressman's examination for West Point and he was given an appointment to enter with the class of 1955. Chuck did exceptionally well at West Point, both physically and academically, making the dean's list and wearing academic stars. He participated in both wrestling and football while at West Point, while also developing a love for the Christian religion. He played the cadet chapel chimes and taught Sunday school as well. Charles pursued the engineering branch with the intent to attend graduate school and obtain a master's degree. Upon graduation from West Point, he attended Army schools for a new second lieutenant and married Phyllis Ernie of Wauseon. Chuck then served in Gießen, Germany in early 1956, transferring to the 814th Float Bridge Company in Honolulu. He stated, "That was my best assignment in 13 years in the U.S. Army." In 1958, Chuck took command of the 814th. In 1959, Chuck received orders to attend the University of Michigan College of Engineering. He earned his master's degree in both nuclear and civil engineering, and was assigned to the Army Reactor Section of the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission. In 1963, he attended the Engineer Office Career Course of Fort Belvoir, Virginia. His next assignment would be the Republic of Vietnam in 1964. While serving in Vietnam, Chuck reported to the Military Assistant Command, where he designed barracks for the MAC-V teams. He received the Bronze Medal Star and was assigned to teach mathematics at West Point. Once Chuck's recognition from the Army was approved, he left to pursue his civilian career. He held a key position at the Toledo Edison Davis-Besse nuclear power plant near Oak Harbor, Ohio, and also worked at the nuclear power plant in Indiana Point, New York. Additionally, he held positions at the 3 Mile Island in Pennsylvania, the Watts Bar facility on the Tennessee River, and plants in Illinois and Florida. He retired from his post-military career in the 1990s. Following retirement in 2000, Chuck resided in Toledo, where one of the highlights of his life was traveling to numerous areas to tour churches and established in the first century of the Apostle Paul. He also wrote a memoir for his family. His brother Gordon Domeck reflected on Chuck's life, saying he was trying to give his nieces and nephews a sense of family and where he came from and the values given to us by our grandparents on both sides and our parents. Charles Robert Domeck passed away on March 21st, 2008 at the Ohio Veterans Home in Sandusky, Ohio. Accepting the recognition today on behalf of Charles Domeck is his niece, Karen Ballmer. Our next distinguished alumni member is Miss Victoria Lannie. Victoria Jean Lannie, RN, MAPT, graduated from Wauseon High School in 1962. She is the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Charles Gashi. Her husband, Barney Lannie, is deceased. He served in the Bloomington Police Department for 20 years. Vickie has fond memories of her educational experience at Wauseon schools. Having attended her entire career, she speaks highly of the preparation many of her teachers at Wauseon High School afforded her, specifically citing Nina Scott, Miss Wise, Miss Bender, Mr. Blue, Gail Bundy, Frank Kunkel, and Mr. Joyce Leatherman. She attributes her academic and professional success to the foundation that was provided to her through her education at Wauseon. Vickie also remembers her classmates and the many activities in which they participated together. She participated in GAA, cheerleading, and the speech club, and was fortunate enough to win the Freedom Shrine speech competition her senior year. She continued her education at the Mennonite School of Nursing, from which she graduated in 1965. Vickie is also a 1985 graduate of St. Mary of the Woods College, where she earned her master's degree in pastoral theology. As a first-year student nurse, she observed dying patients segregated to the furthest rooms down the hallway and noticed that staff members did not frequent those rooms. Troubled by this, she inquired about the reasoning and learned it was because staff members did not know what to do or what to say to those patients. Vickie states, "My mind was made up that day that medicine had to change its view and render appropriate care to the dying, encompassing the biological, psychological, and spiritual components of the entire being. Thus my nursing and pastoral mission began." In her professional career, Vickie was inspired to bring hospice services to Central Illinois. Vickie started that the first hospice, which found its home at the Methodist Medical Center in Peoria, Illinois. Vickie began hospice work in 1974 and remained practicing her calling for 35 years, serving more than 9,000 families during the time. She completed her master's degree and shared her experiences with others, teaching thanatology, healthcare providers from all disciplines throughout the United States and Canada. Recognized as an innovative member of the medical community, Vickie brought a new, compassionate, and highly skilled form of terminal care to the community of Peoria, and mainly smaller towns in the surrounding area. Vickie has earned many distinguished awards and recognition for her accomplishments in 2000. In 2000, she was recognized as one of the 25 women in leadership for the Greater Peoria. In 2015, she was honored with the highest award presented by the Mennonite Nurses Alumni Association, the Distinguished Alumni Award. Other notable accomplishments for Vickie including helping the campaign for the Washington Area Community Center in 2002, in which she was able to seek funding for a $25.5 million complex comprised of a community consortium. She also presently serves on a part-time basis as a coordinator for Upturn Ambassadors Group and teaches customer service. Vickie feels honored to serve an organization that emphasizes giving back while enhancing the leadership qualities of employees, providing families with a resource for teaching their children how to gift others with caring and concern and involvement. Vickie currently resides in Carlock, Illinois. She remains a proud graduate of Wauseon High School and believes she received the highest level of academia as a student in the Wauseon school system.
This never happens. Nobody ever asks to speak, and you're wondering, what would a little old lady have to say to me? When I took hospice on as my life's mission, I made a covenant with myself. And that covenant was, with every opportunity that I had, I was going to urge people to grab a hold of life and to live it every single day. There is a legend, and I must hurry, but there is a legend, and it's called the Legend of the Thorn Bird. And it's all about a tiny little bird that's been given one gift. And that gift is to sing the most melodious song that can fall on a human ear. But there's a catch-22 here. It may only sing that song in its bleeding and in its dying. So it spends an entire lifetime seeking just the right thorn bush. And when at last it finds it, it impales its body against the thorns. And only in its bleeding and dying does it raise its voice for the first and the last time. Do not let that be the legend of your life. I refuse to allow it to be the legend of my life. We have this moment. We have today. As you make your way out into the real world, it ain't going to be easy. But I want you to remember where you came from. You came from the best. Wauseon High School, Wauseon, Ohio.
Presenting our next two distinguished alumni is junior Monica Betts.
Our next distinguished alumni is Mr. Michael Ledyard. Michael Ledyard is a 1967 graduate of Wauseon High School. He has fond memories of his formative years in Wauseon. Mike expressed that he received a great education through the Wauseon exempted village schools, especially in math, science, and English. The skills and techniques learned from teachers such as Mr. Leatherman and Mr. Reed prepared him well for college and later in life. Mike also credits his participation in athletics as having played a major role in his overall education. Mike stated, "Teamwork and collaboration are essential to success. Small-town Midwestern values have shaped who I am." Upon graduation from Wauseon High School, Mike attended the University of Cincinnati from 1967 to 1973. He graduated in 1973 with a Bachelor of Science in Industrial Design. He then began a career that has encompassed the last 45 years. Mike has achieved great distinction in the field of consulting. He has assisted multiple clients to achieve significant improvements in numerous areas, specifically in process measurement and management and outsourcing of services. Mike's official profile states from the following. Mike Ledyard is a recognized expert in the areas of process management and process improvement. He is currently assisting the state of Tennessee to outsource management of over 7,500 facilities statewide. Mike's credentials include planning, forecasting, order management, distribution, and new product development. His experience also includes the international sourcing, manufacture, and importation of products and tooling from China. Mike is a skilled communicator and concisely explains supply chain concepts in understandable form to audiences ranging from boardroom executives to shop floor personnel. As a result of his dedicated work, Mike was selected as one of the top 20 logistics and supply chain executives of 2001 to 2002. Mike has also shared his expertise by co-authoring two books entitled Vested Outsourcing, 5 Rules That Will Transform Outsourcing, and Keeping Score, Measuring the Business Value of Logistics in the Supply Chain. Additionally, he has authored numerous articles and has been a presenter at seminars and conferences all across the country. Mike has contributed to the successes of many companies. He is currently a partner in Vested Outsourcing and has also worked for International Paper, Cap Toys, Lionel Trains, Brace Technologies, and Kenner Products Company, among several others. Some of Mike's many clients have included the United States Air Force, the Boeing Company, the University of Tennessee, Verizon, and Microsoft. Mike's levels of professional experiences and professional accomplishments are staggering. It would require far more than a short synopsis of his career to simply mention, let alone give any detail regarding of his analyses and developments within his career fields. Mike has been very happily married to his wife and best friend, Chris, for 44 years. He has 3 children, Jason, Amy, and Megan. Mike also has 1 grandchild, Max. He is honored by his Hall of Fame induction, but he does not view himself as distinguished. Mike stated, "Our Lord has blessed my family and myself in so many ways, and is responsible for every good thing in our lives. We are very blessed. Thank you." distinguished alumni today is Mr. Jeffrey Robinson. Jeff Robinson was born and raised in Wauseon, graduating from Wauseon High School in 1970. While Jeff has many great memories from Wauseon, mostly with regards to time spent with his friends and participating in sports. But his two favorite class experiences at Wauseon include the time he spent working as a lab assistant for Neil Weber and his participation in mixed chorus, glee club, and boys ensemble under the direction of Paul Meeker. He says that at a time when singing wasn't a popular activity, Paul Meeker helped him turn music into a lifelong passion. During high school, Jeff also participated in athletics, where he learned the value of teamwork as well as how to use his competitive nature to help him set goals both on the field and in the classroom. The foundation of his education at Wauseon served him well as he furthered his education first at Miami University, then at the University of Toledo Law. For the majority of his life, Jeff has lived in Wauseon. He has done his best to help make his community a better place. In 1987, he served as city law director, and in 2005, he was appointed to the county court. In 2017, Jeff Robinson was seated as a judge of the Fulton County Court of Common Pleas, where he helped establish the Fulton County Drug Court Program. Professionally, Jeff is a member of the Ohio State Bar Association, and he has served as a president of the local bar association. Jeff has been selected as a member of the Inns of Court, and he has received 2 resolutions from the state legislature commending him for his public service. According to Jeff, serving as a judge for the citizens of Fulton County has been the pinnacle of my legal service. It is my job which has exacted the utilization of all my ethical, moral, and legal skills. This degree of service has also carried over into other areas of the community. For 12 years, Jeff Robinson was a member of the Ohio Board of Education. He sat on the board of Wauseon United Way for 3 years. He has completed several terms as trustee for First Christian Church. He was a board member of the Archbold Community Theater and served as the chairman of the Perry Cross Memorial Committee, which raised over $300,000 in its 9-year existence. Jeff also served 2 terms on the Wauseon Homecoming Committee, which uses its profits to help pay for various community projects. Since 1982, he has also been a member of the Rotary, which has helped to sponsor local charities and has most notably been responsible for the construction of Dorothy Biddle Park, as well as the new trails at the Homecoming Park. Jeff served as president of Rotary in 1993. Jeff has been married for 40 years to his wife, Melinda. Together they have 3 children, Tim, Teresa, and Jason, for all those who remain in Wauseon to raise their families. He has 8 grandchildren, 5 who are now being educated in the Wauseon School District. Jeff credits the vast majority of his success to his parents, saying, "I had incredibly good parents who provided me with a moral compass, to desire to succeed, and to mandate that I try to make a positive difference." Accepting this honor today on behalf of her father is Teresa Haas.
Now to introduce our Legends of Education is Junior Hunter Matten.
Our first Legend of Education being honored today is Mr. William. Bill Green was a physical science educator at Wauseon High School from 1971 to 2006. His entire professional career, spanning 35 years, was spent in the same classroom instructing freshman-level students. Bill embraced this role and consistently performed at a high level in preparing his students for advancement in the sciences. Many students who were first introduced to the more complex aspect of the subject through Bill's classes went on to highly successful careers in the medical and science-related fields. Bill is very proud to have been a part of a team of teachers who impacted the careers of so many young people. Bill graduated from Swanton High School in 1966. He attended Adrian College from 1966 to 68 and attended the University of Toledo from 1969 to 1971. Bill graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Education from the University of Toledo in 1971. He also earned a master's degree from the University of Toledo in 1980. Bill was a member of the National Honor Society during his high school years and was on the Dean's List as he pursued his 2 degrees. While his education and dedication undoubtedly contributed to his achievements in the classroom, Bill deflects the majority of the credit for his achievements to other colleagues. Bill states that, quote, "Much of my success was a result of the teaching staff at WHS. I would especially like to acknowledge Jim Spielis and Kurt Cooley. They set the bar very high, and I did my best to measure up." In addition to his classroom duties, Bill coached multiple sports at Wauseon High School. He felt that his coaching experience was a great privilege, and he continues to reflect on the outstanding students who made it both a challenging and enjoyable. Bill went on to coach 8th grade football for 5 years after his retirement from teaching. According to Bill, "It was one of my best experiences in coaching. I've always felt that if you can't teach in the classroom, you're not going to be a good coach." Not only did Bill positively influence his students, but he also made a remarkable impression on those with whom he worked. According to current Wauseon High School Assistant Principal Ryan Odell, "Mr. Green was one of my greatest mentors. He was a constant source of positive encouragement and provided great advice as I was beginning my career. He regularly let me know when I was doing a good job. I will never forget that. I will always admire him as a teacher, role model, and friend." One of Bill's most distinguishing accomplishments was when former Wauseon High School Principal William Hannock asked him if he would consider returning to the classroom during his second year of retirement. Although Bill declined the offer, he viewed this as both an honor and as an affirmation of a job well done. Bill has been married to his wife Jane for 46 years. They currently reside in Swanton. Bill and Jane have 2 sons, Benjamin and Anthony, daughters-in-law Staniel and Courtney, and 5 grandchildren. Bill wants the students of Wauseon to remember that individual awards are not really individual awards. No one can be successful without the help of a lot of good people. Our next legend of education is Mrs. Debra Schnitkey. Debra Schnitkey attended Archibald High School from 1970 to 1974. After graduation, she continued her education at The Ohio State University. She graduated from OSU in 1978 with a bachelor's degree in music education. In 2001, Deb earned her master's degree in the art of teaching from Marygrove College. Mrs. Schnitkey was the choir director at Wauseon High School and Wauseon Middle School from 1978 to 2010. She was also the Wauseon Middle School general music teacher throughout her time at Wauseon schools. In addition to teaching, Deb was the assistant director of the Wauseon High School musicals for 16 years, followed by 8 years as director of the musical. She shared that her experiences from WHS contributed to her success and specifically mentioned the outstanding administrative leadership and the Christian community support that encouraged sacred music. During Deb's 32 years as the vocal music instructor for Wauseon schools, her main objective was to produce quality singers and musicians. As a music teacher, she felt that she had the opportunity to help all students achieve success, and music was a way for students to find that success in life. Another goal of Deb was to make all students feel important and valued. Some of Deb's most cherished accomplishments including taking a student with Down syndrome to solo and ensemble contest and helping him prepare. The student performed well, and Deb continued to prepare other special needs students in subsequent years. Mrs. Schnitkey also used her conference period once a week to have a class for special needs students, and she enjoyed watching students use music to communicate and socialize. Deb says this of her time as a teacher in Wauseon: "Many of my students were like family to me. My care for them ran much deeper than the classroom. I loved to attend their sporting events and weddings and graduation parties. Many fond memories were made during Mrs. Schnitkey's career." Deb received several distinguished awards and recognition throughout her career as a music educator. She was a recipient of the Outstanding Teacher of the Year Award from the Fulton County Board of Developmental Disabilities for her inclusion efforts, as well as earning awards for leadership on several chorale trips. In 2005, Deb was awarded the Ohio Music Educators Award for 25 years of outstanding leadership. Throughout Deb's 32 years of teaching, she was able to touch many lives through musical experiences and inspire students to make music a part of their future lives. Several former students are now music teachers, private music teachers, professional musicians, and church worship leaders. Deb takes great pride that their students were able to take their talents and use them to fulfill a potential for the betterment of the world. She shared that one of her most precious moments as high school chorale director was when she turned on the television to see Army Sergeant Mark Head, a former student, singing the national anthem at a professional baseball game. It was then when she realized that many of her students understood how music can affect a life and how to share it with others. Deb currently lives in the Columbus area. She has 3 children and 7 grandchildren. Lance lives in Jackson, Michigan, Dawn lives in Westerville, Ohio, and Robin lives in Grove City, Ohio. She adores her family and loves being a grandma.
Okay, students, I know you're all watching the clock, and this is the conclusion of our program, but you have heard a lot of great accomplishments today, and please join me in one more round of applause for our inductees. Students, you are dismissed. Have a great, safe weekend. Thank you.